What's up guys, Plated here, and I'm going to give you a quick overview of my character and everything I have. First off, we'll start with the auction house. As you can see, I do only have 45,000 gold right now, but I have been bringing in a lot of gold and putting it out as well to purchase some of my gear. I did purchase gear while I was leveling after about level 50, and after I was done with it, I would just resell it for more gold than I paid for it. It's a quick little way to get your gear so it's easy to level and still stay good in money. As you can see, I am in Inferno. I have not killed the Butcher yet. I am on the Butcher. He's giving me some problems. He's hard to kill as a wizard. And as you can see, I am a wizard, like I just said. Right here it says I do only have 19,404 DPS. That number is actually low. I will jump into game real quick and show you what I mean. My DPS is not what it says right here. If you do see, I am using this weapon with 712.8 at top end with a lot of holy damage and increased crit. And again, a decent offhand with lots of added damage. My 3 and 4 are both buffs, so when I pop them both, I am up to 27,551 DPS. For a wizard, I think this is actually really good. Wizards tend to be huge glass cannons. You can build as much vitality on them as you want, and you're still going to die in Inferno mode, so you just want to be able to pump out as much damage as you can quickly. I could tank Hell mode entirely in a tank spec as a wizard, but as soon as we got to Inferno that changed and I was not able to do that. If we want to go over skills really quickly, not my squills, my skills. Yeah, so on my left click, I'm using Hydra. I'm using the Mammoth Hydra. The only reason I'm using this over Ice is because it is fire, which does proc my con flag, which will add 10% extra damage done by all my skills for 3 seconds on whoever gets hit by the fire, which is really good since it does do an AoE burn. On my right click, I am using Ray of Frost, which again is the strongest secondary attack you can use. It is a constant beam with a very low cost on arcane power, so you can use it for a very long time. As you can see, it does do 215% weapon damage with a 30% slow for 3 seconds, which is huge in here. I'm using Diamond Skin as my number 1. Diamond Skin does allow me to eat 1 or 2 hits from an enemy before they kill me, so that's really important when I'm just trying to pump out humongous amounts of DPS. On number 2, I am running Archon mode. Right here, this is huge. Archon mode allows me to go into this superpower state, where I'm already at increased damage with no arcane power costs, and with the rune I'm using on it, it does give me 25% more damage while in the state. This is huge for mob killing. On my number 3, like I said, I'm using the Familiar, which not only increases my overall damage by 12%, but it brings this little guy up on my screen who shoots little balls too, and those each hit for like 1 or 2k apiece, so that is extra DPS I'm getting. And on number 4, I'm using Magic Weapon. Magic Weapon is a 15% increased damage ability with a 2% knockback chance. So again, knockback is also really good as while playing as a wizard, keeps enemies away from you, and so on and so forth. As a wizard really has no living potential, you do have to do everything you can to keep enemies away from you or be able to absorb their hits. And on my passives, like I said, the first one I'm using is Conflag. Increases enemies who are inflicted fire damage to by 10% on all my skills. Cold-Blooded is cold damage dealt to chilled and frozen targets increased by 20%, which comes in handy a lot as I'm using Ray of Frost, so when I chill them, my damage increases even more, so that's really big. And Glass Cannon, like I said, I am a Glass Cannon, meaning I have no survivability and all damage, so I am also increasing my overall damage done by 15%, and it does decrease my armor resistances by 10%, which really isn't that big of a deal for me. We go into details over here. You can see my resistances are not low, they're actually doing okay, with a low of 129 and a high of 188. That ranges from 30% to 38% resistance, with a max life of only 14,800. I was actually way higher, I was at like 35,000 the other day, but my DPS was pretty low. So I switched it all up to reduce my life to the minimum I can get it to, and my damage as high as I can. Life per second, I'm getting 277 life per second, with a health globe bonus of 9,808, so anytime I get a health globe, my health almost fully restores. Same thing with potions. Potions do completely restore my health, which is another really good thing. And I am getting these health globes from 5 yards away, so if I do kill a mob that's pretty close to me, I don't have to walk to it and get it. I can still keep fighting and I'll randomly get the health back, which is really nice. My arcane power is only at 100. There are other ways I can increase that between passives and whatnot, but again, I will be reducing damage to do that. Not worth it to me at all. Move speed, gold find, magic find, all pretty much basic. Haven't really done anything on any of them. Magic Find I would love to increase to get some more items, but I am level 60, so I do get the buff Nephilim Valor. Every time you kill an elite group, you get a 15% Magic Find buff. It stacks up to 5 times. Comes really in handy in Inferno mode, lets you find some really good items. So let's start on some of my other gear. My helm, I'm using a Wizrad hat, just for the 144 int on it. I got this really cheap off the auction house, and the one I was using was really more for life and not for damage, so I switched it out. This one is actually pretty good. I would love to find a nice one, a better one than this, or rare or something, but for now this is going to have to do. These are my shoulders. I like the name. It's called the Gear. I just think that's pretty cool. With 124 intelligence on them, some dex and strength in there. Dex is really good to have too. Increases your dodge chance, which is big for me because, again, like I said, no survivability, so the ability to keep enemies away or dodge or absorb attacks is great. Gloves, 109 intelligence, attack speed by 15%. Those are actually really good for blues. I mean, they're only level 59s as well. I haven't seen any other blues that are really this good yet, especially I haven't seen any drops or anything. But if I get some rares, again, I'll switch them out. This ring is kind of low, as you can see, a level 42 ring, but the 7 to 14 damage is huge, and the 53 int is also really good. Again, would love to switch that out for something like this with 11 to 24 damage. This is really nice. My chest piece is a double-socketed torso, Vital Grab, or Garb. It is a level 60 rare, with 123 intelligence, 79 vit, some more random stats, and a double socket, which is huge. Right now I only have flawless squares in there. I would love to upgrade them to a little bit more, but as you can see I'm low on gold right now, so I'm going to hold off on upgrading my runes or my gems a little bit longer. I have a pretty crappy belt, as you can see. It's only got 54 int on it. I was looking for a new one on the auction house yesterday, but I ended up passing on that to get the weapon that I'm using now. These weapons are going for crazy amounts in the auction house right now. 712 weapon. The cheapest I could find a DPS weapon like this was like $1.5 million. I grabbed this for 500,000. To me, that's a pretty good steal. I'm not gonna lie. For something like this that's early on in the game, it was worth it to get the extra DPS this early on. My pants have 136 int on them, which is another really good stat, and the boots have another 136 int on them. My bracers sitting at 125 int, and the amulet has 113 int on it. I think everything I have besides my belt has over 100 int. Basically, when I search for an item, I try to get an item with no less than 110 or 125 int on it. The belt is just an exception because I couldn't replace it yet because I was too low on cash. As you can see, my total intelligence is at 1,436, which is really good because it increases all damage for me by 1,436%. There is no DR on that. As much intelligence as you can get will increase your damage by that amount. So with that being said, something like this 7 to 14 damage is really getting times by like 14. So that 7 to 14, multiply that by 14, and that's the actual damage that it is adding in. So getting a main stat stack like that is really important. As you can see, my buffs have wore out, so I've dropped down here. But yeah, basically this is my character. This is my level 60 wizard. I am working on a demon hunter and a monk as well, and hopefully I will get them up to level 60 very soon. Peace out, YouTube.